Yo, so yeah, so Diddy's not guilty on the most important counts, and it was ridiculous from the beginning.
They're doing what? What do you mean there's people outside of the courthouse pouring baby oil on themselves because of the Diddy verdict? Do you understand how insane that is? Listen, we are in a freakdemic. I've been telling y'all it's Freakville, USA, and there's freaking leaks outside. And y'all don't want to believe me when I say it's a freakdemic. Y'all tell me I'm tripping. I've been thinking about this for the past month. Why is our culture so freaky? Is it America? Is it this batch of people? Is it the simulation? I don't know what's going on, but I made a list of 5 things that show that this is the freakiest era of people of all time. The first Freako, aka Freaky Rico, has been defeated. Yes, it's been defeated by Diddy himself. He was found not guilty today on 3 of the 5 charges. Yeah, I'm talking about the serious stuff too, the trafficking, the racketeering, that type of stuff he was found not guilty of. And there's a group of people outside the courthouse pouring baby oil on themselves and dancing around celebrating.
Now let's talk about Diddy. Free Diddy, yo. Yo, free Diddy. I ain't gonna lie, I can't believe Diddy might get off. This nigga might be home before Christmas. So if you guys don't know, let me take this shit down and then go this, because I woke up. One more time, guys. I'm in Australia, so I'm like ahead of you guys, but at the same time behind, okay? So I have to keep up with the news as you guys go. So Diddy found not guilty, but guilty at the same time with, like, I think the Mann Act? Yeah, something like that. But watch this, guys. If you guys have any information or anything like that, let me know. And keep me updated. Let's watch Chris Cuomo, and then we might watch Flacco going off. Watch this.
That this verdict, that this case was more about the government and less a judgment about.
Yo, Brian Still, Cloud Babies Elevation Nation. Brian Still is 2 for 2. If you don't know who Brian Still is the lawyer that used to represent Young Thug in that RICO case. Now, when we talking about the feds, when the feds get you, they got everything. They dot their I's and cross their T's and all that yada yada yada. But yo, Brian Still is showing you that you can actually beat the government. You could beat the feds. The whole RICO shit don't mean nothing anymore. After we seen this, nah, son.
About Sean Diddy Combs. 8 men and 4
diddler.
women found that.
One more thing, yo. Cloud Babies, we need to talk about the artist right here. This artist right here is the worst artist ever, yo. There's no way you tell me. I need to find out who is the artist, because that's trash right here. Look at this. Look how they have Diddy. Is that the floor? Is that a couch? Is that a table? Like, come on, son. We need a whole documentary about the one specific artist right there, yo.
The government overreached. They made a federal crime out of Diddy's immoral lifestyle.
Look at the art. Look how they have Diddy. They have Diddy under the table, son. That's wild, kid. Free Diddy one more time, yo.
He was convicted on 2 charges of paying for sex workers to cross state lines, which by all lights, he did.
Yeah,
he's guilty. But all this for that? A law originally from 1910 that was called the White Slave Act.
Oh,
that was really just about,
I didn't know about
that. The government kind of censoring relationships they didn't like.
Oh, shit.
Not that human trafficking.
Let's bring it back. I just learned something.
8 men and 4 women found that the government overreached. They made a federal crime out of Diddy's immoral lifestyle. He was convicted on 2 charges of paying for sex workers to cross state lines, which by all lights, he did. He's guilty. But all this for that? A law originally from 19...
Real quick, guys, hit the comment. Do you guys think Diddy is going to sue a lot of the government and a lot of the content creators and shit for talking reckless? Like, if I'm Diddy, I'm suing a lot of people, yo. A lot of people is gonna go down. By Christmas, I want my money.
10 that was called the White Slave Act, that was really just about the government kind of censoring relationships they didn't like. Not that human trafficking isn't real, but human trafficking implies what? that you're taking people who don't want to be taken and doing things to them that they don't want done. Okay? No
And he
one
proved that Cassie wanted the D. She wanted it. She couldn't wait to get the baby oil.
here said that they didn't want to go. They were adults as far as we know. So was it illegal? Federally, yes. Is it worth all this?
Nope.
The jury said basically no. This case proves that people don't buy what the government says anymore, and they're not wrong to feel that way.
That's right.
A guy just said to me on the subway, they painted Diddy like Gotti and got. Sure, New York City speak maybe, but it's a pretty accurate portrayal. The government wanted you to believe that Diddy was like John Gotti, that he was a one-man criminal organization. So they used a law for criminal organizations, RICO, to trump up the charges.
And how are you going to start a RICO case with one man? Nobody else in the organization is helping Diddy like that.
Okay?
The people that was helping Diddy doing the freak off was actually the girls that's complaining about the whole freak off, right? This is where we at. And am I with Diddy? No, hell no. He put hands on Cassie. But at the same time, come on, son. That's not a RICO case.
And the jury rejected it, as well as rejecting the idea that Diddy was guilty of sex trafficking Cassie Ventura and another woman, the unnamed girlfriend, Jane.
No, that's Daphne. That's 50's girlfriend, all right? We're not going to do none of this like, we don't know who it is. That's Daphne. That Asian-looking chick, yeah, no,
I had a suspicion this was going to go this way. And not because I don't think that what Diddy was up to or about is wrong, is objectionable, is something I'd want to beat him up for. But it's because it clearly didn't meet the standards of the charges that the prosecutors were going for. Diddy is guilty of abusing Cassie physically, probably emotionally, and psychologically.
Yeah,
and we
domestic.
all saw it. And clearly that was the root of this case for
That's
the
it.
feds. But it wasn't even a charge.
That right there.
They obviously had nothing else. So then the judge denies bail.
What happened to all the tapes, though, Cloud Babies? What happened to all the tapes that they got? I want to know if they watched them and was like, nah, he's good. Like, did they find any politician? Did they find like anybody that's like Obama, like somebody like Clinton or Trump or something like that? Like, that's what I want to know, because that's nothing there. Like, yeah, he should do time for that. At least give this nigga like 6 months or like a year. Well, time served now for putting hand on Cassie. But after that, come on, man. Let's be real.
Now, at least he had a basis, okay? Diddy didn't meet the burden for bail to this judge's satisfaction before the trial, so nothing had changed since then for him. I get it. But how often do guys get held on a prostitution charge? And after this many months, like 10 months in prison, will this case be a turning point on lawfare? That's my question tonight.
Yo, Diddy's gonna sue
Again,
a shitload of
for
people,
all
yo.
rumors about Diddy, we know what was proven, okay? Diddy assaulted Cassie Ventura, and we all saw it. The judge used that in his decision. The judge said that that video highlights a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity for violence. Fair, fair. But you're withholding bail for actions that were not part of the case against him. Think about that. Is that okay? Or are we confusing legality with a preference for a certain kind of morality? Is that the court of public opinion bleeding in to what our prosecutions become? Cases like this are part of why there is a growing distrust in government and institutions. 1 in 3 of us today trust the judicial system. 10 years ago, it was 2 in 3. And I believe a case like this, it doesn't matter how you feel about Diddy. It's easy to condemn him. You have the proof.
That's right.
But that doesn't make it a crime. Allegations are not enough. Show me the man and I will find you the crime. You know where that came from? A Russian intel chief. That's for them, that standard. It should not be the American way. I said this case was weak, just like the New York cases against President Trump, just like the indictment of Mayor Adams. Not because I like any or all of them, or because I am okay with what any of them actually did, but because behavior is not enough. A crime should mean something serious and should be proven, okay? That's what America is about. It's not what this case was about. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our news.
Yeah, subscribe to Cuomo, man. Yeah. Subscribe to Cuomo, Cloud Babies. Yeah, no, that case was crazy. So, share screen. So now we have DJ Axe is pretty much saying the same thing I'm saying.
You better get your money from Vlad because you've been saying all type of shit. He don't fuck with you. Uncle Paulie, you got this for life. KK, Diddy should give you a part of all of his existing companies because you had the key to the castle, and when it was most convenient for her to save her own ass, she got a lawyer that only spoke with Diddy, and she never ever switched on that nigga. KK, you're gonna get part. If Diddy got $1 billion, you got $100 million. That's a fact. 10% at least. Gina, you gotta get a baby. You knew I was only fucking these other bitches because I'm just a man that just can't deal with one pussy. You know what it is. I never abused none of these bitches. They was down with it, just like you were. Except they weren't as loyal and patient like you were. But now that you did this for me and I get out of federal jail, you get what you want. Let's think about who didn't flip on Diddy. There's no mention of D-Rock. Diddy's going to fund your security company. That's a fact. Roger Bonds, you better get your money from Vlad because you've been saying all type of shit. He don't fuck with you. Uncle Paulie, you got this for life. KK, Diddy should give you a part of all of his existing companies because you had the key to the castle, and when it was most convenient for her to save her own ass, she got a lawyer that only spoke with Diddy, and she never ever switched on that nigga. KK, you're gonna get part. If Diddy got $1 billion, you got $100 million. That's a fact. 10% at least. Gene,
I'm with it. That's a fact, yo. I'm Diddy. I'm suing Gene Deal. I'm suing that. What's that crazy lady? Jaguar White. Oh yeah, they're going down. Who else? Akademiks. Akademiks was talking reckless. Yeah, he could get it too. I think we were talking reckless. We might get a defamation case. I might have to delete. I might have to alt and delete a lot of them shits because I was talking reckless. I was, yeah, Cloud Babies. I was there. I was one of them.
Slow one said, "Stop trying to cop. Don't try to cop a plea because he's not guilty." How does that make sense? I'll be like, all right, then I'm good too. Then.
But at the same time, I always said there's no way this nigga is like, that's not a RICO case. But as far as all the Freakazoid shit and putting hands on Cassie, I was like, yeah, no, that's too much, homie. But yeah, a freak is a freak, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a freak, but shit.
Video, I'm gonna break down why Cassie's reaction to this.
You shouldn't go to jail for being a freak, though.
Proves that she's not done going after Diddy. Diddy went from facing a life sentence to potentially getting out of jail today. He was found not guilty on racketeering, not guilty on trafficking, guilty on transporting Cassie to engage in prostitution, transporting another Jane Doe to engage in prostitution, but ultimately not guilty on the serious charges. The precedent that's been set for anybody convicted on these charges is not really that serious, and they're usually granted bond as they are awaiting sentencing. Diddy's team has put together a package that's been floating out there. He's volunteering $1 million bond and travel restrictions, which to me, that's excessive, but he's offering that up because he wants to get out today. And this undoubtedly should be accepted if there's nobody
like he should, yeah,
outside of the prosecutors. Well,
like he
Diddy
should.
is not gonna have a smooth sailing bond hearing today, not on Cassie's watch. Because right when Cassie got wind that Diddy is trying to get out today, Cassie has now officially petitioned the court not to release Diddy from jail today.
God damn.
Cassie attorney wrote a letter to the judge, and the letter says, "We write as counsel for Cassandra Ventura, Miss Ventura, aka Cassie, to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentences on 2 convictions. Pursuant to the bill reform, detention is mandatory post-conviction on these charges, and Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testify in this case, including herself, as well as to the community. We thank the court for its time and attention to this matter." My initial reaction to this was, what did he pay Cassie $20 million for?
Exactly.
What did he give $20 million to buy? Because even when Diddy was first being investigated, his house was getting raided. Cassie and her attorneys put out a statement, letting them know, hey, bruh, we is cooperating with the feds, right? We
want justice. I'm not trying to undermine what Cassie went through. We seen the video. Cassie is a victim. So her wanting justice, there's nothing wrong with that. But what was the $20 million for? If I'm Diddy and I knew if I gave you $20 million, now you won't speak on this publicly, but you're still going to cooperate with the feds, come to court and testify against me. And then once I get found not guilty and there's a possibility of me being released, you're going to petition the court to keep me in jail. At that point, you got to work for your $20 million, man. Now, Cassie, I believe, sued Diddy for like $50 million or something absurd.
And they settled for
Bruh,
30, I
you
believe.
would have to work for
Or
every
35.
dollar you get from out of me, bruh. If I knew this was going to be the path that they was going to take, I thought $20 million is you go away, you enjoy life. Cassie also got $10 million from the hotel. I'm thinking you go away, you enjoy life, and you leave me and the feds alone. They released another statement where Cassie is taking credit for paving a way for Diddy criminal charges, where the lawyer writes, this entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November of 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of
Damn,
transportation.
this photo right here looked like she just came off a freak off. She was like, more? We on, Diddy? We got this. Baby oil. Yeah, that's what that picture showed right here, man. Look at that face right here, man. She's glistening. Diddy oil everywhere, man. Come on, son. Let's be real.
Doing grades and prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie had left an inedible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit, and the misconduct has persisted for decades without repercussions. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. They letting Diddy know, bruh. We not done with you yet, buddy. Diddy essentially gave Cassie the money that she used to go after him. If he would have made her wait, then like the civil trial would have had to wait until after the criminal trial. And if he would have gotten found not guilty, he could have went to court
and don't pay her shit.
And like probably like get found guilty of the domestic violence stuff or the other things, and probably not have to pay out $20 million.
Facts.
But
give her
$5
million.
The attorney didn't stop there. Like the attorney did like a video press conference after the verdict came out, after the not guilty verdict came out, and he made it perfectly clear, okay, that the two acts where Jane Doe and Cassie, he got convicted on a Man's Act of transporting them to engage in rendezvous. Well, he stated that they're pushing for the max, that they are confident the court will keep this man in jail. They pushing for 20 years, $1 million for each year they want to put Diddy in prison for.
We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done, and we're pleased that Cassie's brought to light everything that has happened in this trial. I just spoke with her and with the U.S. Attorney's Office team, and she's in a good place. She's pleased that the jury has found him liable, guilty of two federal crimes.
What was her reaction?
And I've issued a statement as well on our Twitter as well. Her reaction is what I just said. Her reaction was that
she's done enough, man. Diddy's not the greatest person in the world, but you can't go to jail for being a freakazoid.
She's happy that in November of 2023 she came forward and shined a light on this and brought other people forward who have various civil claims, and so we'll see what happens with the sentencing. All right.
Counsel,
thank you very much.
Looking at this direction, you said that same thing. Sorry.
Oh, I can't repeat it again, but
yeah, please.
Sorry. So, what was the question?
Your reaction to what happened.
The reaction is that we're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for two federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand.
Yo, let's make a bet right now, y'all. Diddy's coming before Christmas. Pause no Diddy. He's gonna come home before Christmas, man.
He still faces substantial jail time. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Time served already. Watch.
Wigdor, W-I-G-D-O-R. Well, each is faces up to 10 years on each. I'm not sure what the sentencing guidelines are given the various different things, but I'll leave that up to the government and the defense to argue. But I feel confident in saying he still faces substantial incarceration.
How would you feel if he walks out on bail?
Well, that's up to the judge. I don't have a personal vested interest in
Yeah,
it.
you do.
Whatever
Come on now.
the appropriate thing to do under the law is
Fighting for your client.
Is what should be done. And at the end of the day, he needs to be sentenced pursuant to the guidelines and pursuant to what the law is. My understanding of that is that he faces significant incarceration. So thank you very much.
Thank you. He's the attorney for Cassie Ventura.
He lied in that press conference. He's not leaving it up to the judge or the prosecutors because he intervened. He literally wrote a letter saying, yo, keep him in jail. And also, it doesn't just stop here. The day of sentencing, there's going to be victim impact letters. Cassie is going to give a victim impact letter. She's going to push for Diddy to get 20 years. Now, my thing is this, bro. Diddy, regardless of what you think he did, he was convicted on transporting Cassie to the free calls. So, based on that, do you believe that Cassie deserves $20 million plus Diddy doing 20 years in prison because he transported her to free calls? I think that's a tad bit excessive. Now, I don't think Cassie is the villain in this situation, but what Cassie is doing is she's making sure that her public reputation and how people view her
It's too late.
now
It's over.
changing, is now turning.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were sympathetic to the nature of that video is horrible. Diddy, what he did to Cassie is horrible. And a lot of people was fine with her getting the $20 million based off of that alone. But now as she pushes for this man to get 20 years in prison for transporting her to a freak off, people are now starting
And she
to view
wanted
her
it.
as the villain. Vlad TV tweeted this like a little while ago, like 5 minutes ago. Vlad writes, Cassie is the villain in this whole case. You can't convince me otherwise. And I feel like this
Starting
is
to feel like
entirely
that too.
based on what Cassie has been doing post the verdict. The $20 million, you had to come to court. They probably subpoenaed you or forced you. Okay, cool. Now, afterwards after getting $20 million, you still want him to get 20 years in jail? That's when you start to become a villain. That's when people now begin to look at you as if this is not right. This is not okay. Cassie got $20 million from Diddy, $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. She's up $30 million. She could go away and enjoy her life. Pushing for this man to get
To be honest with you, I think that's wrong. I think she's up 40 right now. Cause what I think she got 30 mil for settling. And then plus that 10.
20
So
years to me is
I could
a
be
little bit
wrong.
excessive. I'm not saying Diddy don't deserve jail time. I think if we could go back in time to before the statute of limitation for him doing what he did to Cassie in that hotel room, then yeah, Diddy should probably get, I don't know, 4 years, maybe 3 years in prison for beating her up in the hotel. Cool. But a statute of limitation has been passed. Diddy was only convicted of transporting her to a free call. Should he get 20 years for that? Come on, bro. When Cassie was a willing participant in the free calls, if Cassie was my mom or my sister, I'm advising her to take the money and go away. You don't want to be the next Megan Thee Stallion. You don't want to be viewed in that light. And Diddy still got a lot of support out here, bro, because people essentially look at this case like a sham. And I feel like the jurors looked at that too, which is why he got found not guilty on most of the charges. And even when you look at the support that Diddy still has, it's shocking, but Diddy still have a lot of support. Rather this is a good thing or a bad thing, I can't comment on it. But yo, people are literally pouring baby oil on themselves outside of the courthouse in support of Diddy.
Oh my
Diddy got a lot of
God.
support out here, bro. And the way social media works, man, they will turn you into a Megan Thee Stallion fast.
Fast, real fast.
Etiquette that is happening inside of a courtroom. No, instead, I kid you not, people are pouring baby oil on one another outside this courthouse. Baby oil having a very big play in the freak offs.
Yo, where's Johnson & Johnson, yo? We need to sponsor Diddy, yo. Johnson & Johnson need to sponsor Diddy. After this case, by Christmas, Diddy get a whole new brand deal, yo. I'm with it. He lost Ciroc. Nah, son. It's time for that Diddy oil cut.
RICO. You've got applause coming when the mother of Sean
Make
Diddy,
this shit up.
Miss Janice, got out of the vehicle in the freak-offs we heard about. You had people saying it's not RICO, it's FRICO. You got applause coming when the mother of Sean Diddy Combs, Miss Janice, got out of the vehicle just a few moments ago, really, behind us and walked inside to elated cheers and her greeting the crowd. Every time the family, the children, the 6 adult children come in, 3 boys and 3 girls, they are met by cheers, and also at times throughout the course of trial, met by scathing and disrespectful comments as well, a lot of profanity. But
and in all honesty, Cassie don't need to really push the courts to do anything. The U.S. is working tirelessly to make sure that Diddy don't get released today. She could say nothing and still get her desirable results. Now, while making this video in real time, we got an update. The judge has actually moved the hearing for Diddy release from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So where I was expecting to hear back a judgment like right around now, we won't hear it probably for about another 3 hours or so. But the U.S. did submit a letter to the judge contesting Diddy's release. And they believe that releasing Diddy right now will send a terrible message to other powerful people.
So this is not the updated version, but allegedly that they're saying that Diddy for him to release will be like somewhere in October or something like that. And I think the lawyers are fighting it.
Letting them know that they don't have to be held accountable. And the U.S. would also say that releasing Diddy right now would put the victims at risk. The U.S. Attorney Office submitted this letter to the judge on behalf of Deontay Nash, who was like a personal hairstylist for Bad Boy. He also testified at court against Diddy, that Diddy threatened him, Diddy hurt him, etc., etc. So the letter is from Deontay Nash, but it was submitted by the U.S. Attorney Office. And the letter says, "Dear Judge, I am writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs, Diddy, being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness you have shown throughout this proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he poses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward." Man, it feels like them U.S. Attorney Office lawyers, bro. Man, bro, they wrote this lawyer on behalf of Deontay Nash, bro. I don't believe a hairstylist is spitting like this, man. Diddy has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior over the years. He has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability, and each time this has only reinforced his sense of impunity. If he is released now, I have no doubt he will see it as yet another license to continue intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenge or expose him. Many of us, firsthand knowledge of the fear he instills in those around him, I can say without hesitation that he is a serious and immediate threat to victims, witnesses, and the broader community. His pattern of violence, particularly while engaged in the trafficking of individuals for prostitution, he was found not guilty of that, by the way, combined with unchecked substance abuse, makes it clear that he is not ready to re-enter society safely or responsibly. To release Diddy without substantial consequences will undermine the integrity of this process and send a dangerous message that wealth and influence can shield someone indefinitely from accountability. It would also endanger those who cooperated with this investigation under subpoena, who are already living in fear of retaliation. I urge you in the strongest possible terms to prioritize the safety of victims and witnesses over any consideration of leniency. Diddy has had countless opportunities to change, and he has chosen instead to escalate his harmful conduct. Allowing him back in the community now would be a profound mistake. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to protecting the public from those who repeatedly demonstrate they are unwilling to respect the law. Diddy is a first-time offender. This is the Mann Act. For a first-time offender, bruh, this man ain't getting the years you think he's getting in jail.
No.
And to me, the argument, hey, bro, people testified against him, so, like, you can't possibly let him go, to me, is a nonsense argument. You understood the risk. You came to court and you did it. Now, you was subpoenaed, but you could have fought it. You didn't. You wanted to do it. This is narrative that just because somebody testified against someone, that the person they testified against should never see the day of light is crazy. Yo, that's like saying, yo, A$AP Rocky, man, we know you were found not guilty, man, but we can't let you out, man, because A$AP really told on you and you going, no, bro. If that man is dumb enough to get out of jail and victimize others, then guess what? He'll be right back in prison. But that's no standard for that man to be in jail longer than he should. treat him like anybody else. We're not talking about trafficking. We're not talking about racketeering. We're not talking about kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering. He was found not guilty on all of that. We're talking about he took his long-term girlfriend, convinced her to engage in a freak off, because he was also found not guilty for force, fraud, or coercion. So they're saying he did not coerce Cassie into doing this or force her into doing this. He transported Cassie. Now the courts have determined that she's a sex worker. So we got to call her that. Because the crime is you transported a prostitute to engage in prostitution.
So now we're allowed to call her a prostitute. Plain and simple. It's on paperwork. She cannot sue nobody. If she's trying to sue you for defamation, you just bring back the court case and then see her, Daphne, and all the other hoes tripping. All right, now they want money. Cloud Babies Elevation Nation, this is my time. All right, thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. All right, we're gonna try to do this every day or every other day, but I'm busy shooting a film, so I'm gonna try to catch you guys up whenever I can. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Love ya. One.